Okay, today we're going to do the doodle notes on observing chemical reactions. And so this is going to be, the title is going to be Psch5s1 doodle notes. And the topic is observing chemical reactions. Okay, so the first thing we're going to review is what causes chemical reactions. And if we remember that our ABCs, we are going to remember that it is caused by A, B, C, and then we're going to do an R. So it's caused by acid, bases, combustion, and reactivity. And these things cause chemical reactions. So are we using an acid? Are we using a base on the substance to kill it? Are we using combustion? When we talk about combustion, we're talking about anything that's burning or that's on fire. And are we using reactivity? When we talk about is there reactivity, or is it rusting? Is it tarnishing? Like silver tarnishes, or is it spoiling? Is a gas being produced? So these are the causes of chemical reactions. So what are some of the things we're going to notice in the change of properties during a chemical reaction? Okay, we might notice the production of a gas. We might notice an odor change. There could be a color change. Or there might be the formation of a precipitate. For some reason this is not erasing, so I'm going to spell this again. Which is a solid that appears during a chemical reaction. Okay. When we have a chemical change, it's important to remember that there is the production of a new substance. So during a chemical change, we're going to have one or more new substances, and these are substances different than what we started with. So one or more new substances. That's an S there. Sorry, it's going off the screen. We're also going to have a change in energy, and that's going to be evident in a temperature change. So we are going to see either temperature is going to get hotter or it's going to get colder during the chemical reaction without our interference, meaning we're not going to put a fire to it, we're not going to put it in a refrigerator. Just when you mix the two substances together, they automatically get hot or cold when mixed. So if it gets cold, we call that endothermic. So we go endos when it gets cold outside. Okay, so it's going to absorb the heat, and because it's absorbing all the heat, it's going to feel cold outside. It's going to feel cold to the touch. And I like to say we go endos because it's feeling cold outside. So endo means to absorb, and thermic means heat. So that's how we get the term endothermic. If there's a change in temperature and it gets hot, that's going to be exothermic. And that's going to release heat or release energy. And because it's releasing the heat, it feels hot to the touch. So exo means out or exit, and thermic means heat, so the heat is going out and it feels hot to the touch. A good example of an exothermic reaction is going to be hot hands, like they use for hunting or sporting events or camping. And a good example of an endothermic reaction is a cold pack that you might see in a first aid kit that doesn't need to be frozen. You just break the water inside and the cold pack automatically gets cold. And then the last thing we're going to write, if you can fit it on the bottom, if you can't, you could do it on the on the back of the page, is going to be chemical bonds. And during a chemical reaction, the bonds are either going to break or form new bonds, or both. So like when you're burning wood, the bonds break, the wood goes, you can smell odor change, you get a release of energy, the wood's going to turn to a new substance, ash. So that's what happens during a chemical reaction. The bonds break and new bonds form.